and welcome to the EBS PaySuite earnings tutorial. My name is Ted, and I will be your guide. Earnings come from various sources, such as wages for work performed, benefits such as vacation pay, and reimbursements such as mileage expense. How these earnings are calculated, processed, and reported is dependent on setup. The goal, of course, is to create accurate, timely paychecks and to comply with taxes and payroll reporting entities, including your own company. Now let's open the PaySuite application. If you have the proper security permissions, you should see a tab for Payroll. So go ahead and click on the Payroll tab now. When the Payroll tab opens, you will see a menu on the left side of the screen. Click on the Master's menu item. Now the payroll codes will display. Select Earnings from the list of codes. When the earnings screen opens, the earnings status, active, is activated and a list of earnings will display on the left side of the screen. Once selected, each earning will display the specific options that have been preloaded in your system. Let's select Regular Pay for our review. The General tab will now display. Under the General tab, the first three fields, Earnings Category, Reporting Type, and Earnings Type, work together to set the parameters that determine how the earnings is reported on forms and reports such as W-2 and Form 941. To get a better understanding of how these three fields work, let's take a look at an example of 4 different earnings. For regular pay, the earnings category is earnings, the reporting type is hours worked, and the earning type is basic pay. For vacation pay, the earnings category is attendance benefits, the reporting type is vacation leave, and the earning type is basic pay. The next code is mileage. The earnings category is other, the reporting type is mileage, and the earnings type is reimbursement. The last item is bonus pay. The earnings category is earnings, the reporting type is bonus, and the earnings type is premium pay. Now let's continue on the General tab of the PaySuite screen. Earning Pay Cycle shows 5 weekly and 1 supplemental pay cycle options. Since taxes are annualized in your system, selecting the appropriate pay cycle will ensure proper tax calculations and accruals for this earning. The check group has 6 radio buttons used to designate this earning will be paid with the indicated check group. For instance, regular pay and overtime pay may be paid on check group 1, while the expense reimbursement may be paid on check group 2. Tax rate and tax cycle refer to how the earnings will be taxed and the cycle by which taxes will be withheld on this earning. Calculation rules have been preset in the system and need only be selected to align with the earnings. For regular pay, the pay rate times hours times rate factor is selected. But if this is a one-time occurrence, such as bonus pay, then flat amount should be selected. If the rate factor is included in the calculation rule established above, or if the calculation rule is flat amount, the factor should be entered here. For regular pay, 1.0 would be entered. But for overtime pay, 1.5 would be entered. Since the calculation rule for bonus pay is flat amount, 1.0 would be entered. Standard amount monthly is used to enter a flat amount paid on a monthly basis, such as uniform allowance. To set the maximum cumulative amount for this earning, enter it in the earnings goal field. The start date and end date are self-explanatory, and the stub description field shows the description for this earnings code that will be printed on the check stub. To deactivate this earning, you can deselect the status box for active. This will suspend its usage and will no longer display in the list of active earnings. To identify the employers for this earning code, simply use the directional arrows to move them between the available and selected boxes. The employer used in this example is ABC and has already been selected in this earnings code. Don't forget to save your work if you added a new code or made any changes to the existing codes. Now you can move on to the Wage Base tab. The Wage Base screen is only used for an earning with the calculation rule, earnings times percentage, such as commissions paid on a percentage basis. Use the directional arrows to move available earnings to the selected box to assign the earning. Select Reporting to open the next tab. The Reporting tab further defines the earning code parameters for reporting purposes. Select the radio buttons as they pertain to the earning. All of those you see on the screen have been set for the regular earning code. Use automatic allocation to allocate the earning if you have employees working multiple jobs and your company tracks cost on that basis. Select Yes on Auto Reset Balance at end of year if you think the accumulated amount will exceed the earnings goal set in the General tab. If the earning is used in the calculation of shift pay, then select Yes for shift differential component. Include in retro pay calculations should have Yes selected if the earnings apply to calculations for retro pay. If part of the calculation rule on the General tab screen for this earning includes hours worked, select Yes for hours worked dependent. Auto timesheet deduct is used if employees are always paid 80 hours reduced by other hours such as vacation or sick hours entered for that payroll. If you are using a third-party product to track your hours, enter the time clock pay type code as appropriate for this earning. A 0 can be entered if you are using EBS time, as it is fully integrated and needs no special code in this field. The absence reason code is only used with the attendance module. Select No for include accrual hours unless your company uses PTO to record employee hours for vacation, sick pay, and so on. The unit of pay field has 5 preloaded options: flat, hours, non-paid, pieces, and tips. For regular pay, hours would be selected. Now, let's go over the final tab in the earnings setup, the General Ledger. The General Ledger tab shows the GL account numbers assigned to the earning for reporting purposes. Begin by selecting the employer ABC from the list on the left side of the page. Depending on the earnings you are viewing, the GL component column will display additional detail, such as salaried/hourly and main account number. Use the override box to indicate this does not apply to your company's general ledger accounts, or select the appropriate account number from the drop-down list of accounts available. As you have learned in this tutorial, setting up and maintaining your earnings codes is an easy process. See you next time.